All right, let's just dive right in. Today we are talking about something huge, something that trips up almost everyone. I'm talking about the negotiation trap. We're going to figure out exactly when to talk, and maybe more importantly, when to just walk. So let me ask you a question. Have you ever been in a situation, a conversation, a disagreement, and you just felt completely powerless? You know that feeling like you're stuck and the other person is holding all the cards. I'm willing to bet you have. It happens all the time. Maybe it's that coworker who, like clockwork, takes credit for your best work. Or, that friend who's a master manipulator. And, oh man, this is a tough one. That family member who weaponizes guilt to get exactly what they want. This isn't just some business school hypothetical, this is real life stuff. And when this stuff happens, what's the first thing everyone says? You know it. It's always this. Let's just talk it out. It sounds so mature, so reasonable, right? It's our go-to solution for basically any problem. Okay, but here's the truth bomb we need to talk about. That super well-intentioned advice, more often than not, it's a trap, a really, really dangerous one. So let's really get into this first big idea, what I'm calling the just talk trap. Okay, so this is where we get it all wrong. We constantly confuse simple communication with actual strategy. Look at this. Communication is all about good vibes and hoping for fairness. It's driven by emotion. But strategy? No. Strategy is about having a plan, preparing for what's real, and being totally focused on the outcome. These are not the same thing, not even close. So what happens when you fall into that trap, when you communicate without a strategy? Well, it's not good. You basically end up just giving away all your power. And here's exactly how it backfires. This is so important. When you just rush to talk it out with zero prep, you give away three massive things. First, you give them legitimacy just by showing up to the table. Second, you give away your time, a resource you will never, ever get back. And maybe worst of all, you give away your leverage, your actual power to get what you want. And man, this quote just nails the feeling. It says, without alternatives, you're trapped. You negotiate not from power, but from desperation. You're literally signaling to the other person, I've got nowhere else to go. And that is the absolute weakest place to be. But look, it doesn't have to be like this. There is a way out. And it all comes down to understanding your secret weapon, a little something called BATNA. So this is the million-dollar question, right? How do you flip the script? How do you stop negotiating from desperation and actually start taking back control? Here we go. BATNA. It stands for your best alternative to a negotiated agreement. Now, this is way more than just a fancy acronym. It's a complete shift in how you think. Your real power doesn't come from what you might get in the negotiation. Your power comes from having a rock-solid plan for what you're going to do if you stand up and walk away. That single idea changes the entire game. Okay, so how do we build this power? Let's get tactical. Here's the playbook. 4 steps to turn this idea into a real-world advantage. All right, let's break it down. Step 1, and listen up because this is the most important one. Strengthen your alternatives first. Build your BATNA before you even think about talking. Step 2, you control the timing. You pick the when and the where. Don't ever let them rush you. Step 3, know your boundaries. Decide on your non-negotiables, your walkaway points, way in advance. And finally, step 4, get your emotions out of the driver's seat. Treat this like a calculated move, not an emotional reaction. So what happens when you start using this playbook? The whole dynamic just flips. You stop operating on hope, and you start operating from a position of actual, tangible power. I mean, just look at the difference here. This is the payoff. Before, it's all just hope-based talk. You're making emotional concessions. You're second-guessing every move. It feels like a trap. But afterward, you're having strategic conversations. You have calm boundaries, clear leverage. The negotiation stops being a trap, and it becomes what it's supposed to be, a tool that you control. And it really all boils down to this one simple idea, a really powerful quote. You don't negotiate to be nice. You negotiate to improve your outcome. Look, being prepared isn't about being mean. It's about being smart. It's about respecting yourself enough to protect your own interests. So the ultimate lesson here is this. Mastery isn't about winning an argument or being the loudest person in the room. It's when your strategy is guiding the decision and your emotions are just along for the ride. And that leaves us with one final thought to take with you. Think about that next tough conversation you've got coming up. Your next negotiation. Are you just going to try to talk it out? or are you going to be prepared?
I hope you found this video enjoyable and informative. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more amazing content just like this.